Good evening. Thank you all for joining us this evening. This Board of Trustees regular school board meeting is being called to order. The time is 6:01. Before we begin, I'd like to ask if everyone will please join us in a moment of silence to honor the victims of the August 3rd El Paso tragedy. Our deepest sympathies go out to the victims, their families, and friends. And now, if you'll please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance that's being led by Christopher Gomez, who's a 5th grader at Horizon Heights. Christopher, it's all yours.
I pledge allegiance for the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Christopher. We will move on with item 3, Superintendent's Comments. Dr. Espinosa?
Yes, President Nájera and members of the board, I'd like to wish a very happy birthday to Trustee Mr. Eddie Mena, whose special date is tomorrow, August 21st. So, Mr. Mena, happy birthday, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
Wow, wait, is it 100? 100?
Well, Mr. Mena,
He's
the
21,
secret,
okay?
Rookie.
I'll say this, Mr. Mena, the secret to staying young is to just lie about your age, Mr.
There
Mena.
you go.
All right, I'd also like to welcome and recognize several team members to Team SISD's elite leadership team. So when I call your name, please stand. Starting off with the new principal at Campestre Elementary, Ms. Jennifer Avila. Also, Adrian Ramirez, new assistant principal at Helen Ball Elementary. New principal at Paso del Norte, all the way from Ohio, Mr. Benjamin Baldner. Montwood Middle School, new principal, Ms. Melissa Martinez. Mr. Jonathan Flores, new assistant principal at Montwood Middle. Mr. David Macias, new assistant principal at Salvador Sanchez Middle School. And Mr. Manuel Ceros is our new assistant principal at Desert Wind. Ms. Greta Bresgala is our new assistant principal at Eastlake High School. And Ms. Annabelle Ramos is our new licensed specialist in school psychology. Congratulations to all, and we look forward to seeing the positive impact that you are going to have at your individual school and also the department, so congratulations. Upcoming events include a cell phone photography contest on August 24th here at the DSC at 4:30. Also, August 21st, yes, here at the DSC. Also, the community meeting for Socorro High School will be tomorrow at Socorro High School with the reconstruction update. And this Thursday, Region 19 Teacher of the Year celebration, which is on August 22nd, this Thursday at 6:30 at the Head Start Center on Tito Samaniego. We have 2 teachers, an elementary teacher and a secondary teacher, Mr. Itruaga from Hernando and Ms. Lozoya from Sioux Shook, who will be competing with the other Region 19 Teachers of the Year, and hopefully both will win and move on to state. So we will find out on Thursday. Now, many of you have already know that Socorro ISD has just received the best news ever from the Texas Education Agency. TEA, the TEA accountability ratings for each district were recently released, actually on Thursday, and I'm extremely, extremely proud to report that SISD is once again at the top of the charts. Let me let me quickly review how exactly school districts are rated. TEA rates districts on factors such as graduation rates, ACT, SAT, participation and performance, career and technical education graduates, and dual credit course completion rates. But also, school districts who do well in these indicators earn a post-secondary readiness distinction. So that's one, the post-secondary readiness distinction. Also, though, beginning last year, all districts received an accountability rating using a letter A through F, an A, B, C, D, or F, scale based on student achievement, student progress, and also closing the achievement gap. So at this time, I would like to show a video to learn more about the TEA accountability rating for SISD. This video was shared with all of our students this week, Monday morning, yesterday morning, and also our amazing teachers. So if we can put the screen down and let's watch this. It's about 3 minutes. Board members, can we walk down there real quick? Hi Team SISD, I have some exciting news that is hot off the press. The Texas Education Agency has just released the accountability ratings for each district, and I am extremely proud to report that Socorro ISD has earned not only one, but 2 top honors in the state. For the second year in a row, Socorro ISD has earned the distinction for post-secondary readiness. Wow! How significant is it to earn a TEA post-secondary readiness distinction at the district level? It is huge. As a matter of fact, Socorro ISD is the largest district in Texas and one of only 3 in the largest 50 to earn this distinction, as well as the only district in our region to receive this prestigious honor. The post-secondary readiness distinction is the only distinction designation awarded at the district level under the state accountability system. This distinction takes into account factors such as graduation rates, ACT, SAT participation and performance, career and technical education graduates, and dual credit courses completion rates, which all indicate students are college and career ready. But that's not all. Beginning last year, all districts received an accountability rating based on an A through F scale. Well, it is now official. Socorro ISD is the first and only large district in our region to earn an A grade in the latest TEA accountability ratings. Congratulations, Team SISD, for being the largest and one of only 2 school districts in a pool of the largest 50 districts in the state of Texas to earn both an A grade as well as earn the coveted post-secondary readiness distinction. Let me say that again. Socorro ISD is one of only 2 districts in the largest 50 to earn both of TEA's top honors. This enormous accomplishment is the direct result of all of the hard work and dedication of our amazing teachers who go above and beyond each and every day to ensure the success of our students. We also have outstanding support staff, leaders, board members whose contributions ensure our students are safe and supported in the classroom. Socorro ISD could not rise to the top of the charts without the help of all of our parents, volunteers, partners in education, and community members. Most importantly, our incredible students are putting Socorro ISD on the state and also the national map by working hard, having an I can do it attitude, and never ever giving up. Last year, we earned the HEB Excellence in Education Award for Outstanding Large District, and we have proven once again that we are the best large district in Texas. Enjoy the spotlight, Team SISD, because we have earned it. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your continued commitment to ensure every student succeeds. I'm extremely proud to be on the greatest team on the planet with you, Team SISD. Congratulations and have a great year. So this is huge. I think sometimes people think, oh, getting the post-secondary readiness is easy, or getting an A is easy. Let me tell you how hard it is. And this chart up here, if I can have your attention over here to this screen right here, this is going to tell you how hard it is. First of all, you have the top 25 largest districts in the state on this column. Here, you have the enrollment of every of these large 5 districts. As you can see, Socorro ISD is 46,618. Actually, this year now we have 47,000 students. But there's over 1,200 districts in the state of Texas, 1,200. So here on this column, right here, you find out what districts earned an A, a B, or a C, okay? Then you have the post-secondary readiness distinction. And as I said, that looks at graduation rates. That looks at dual credit opportunities for our students and completions. That looks at ACT, SAT, participation and performance. And then they'll tell you, you as a district, you are preparing students for college and for universities after they graduate high school. And then here you have the economically disadvantaged. So, as I said on the video, Socorro ISD, this is 25 largest districts. Socorro ISD, the only district to earn an A and the only district to earn the post-secondary readiness distinction, because you see a lot of not earned. Ladies and gentlemen, that is humongous. That is huge. As you can see, all these other districts, they earn Bs. The first one that earned A was Katy ISD out of the Houston area. They earned an A, congratulations. Next district that earned an A was Frisco ISD, congratulations. Also earned an A, Plano ISD, congratulations. And then you got Socorro ISD. But Katy, you got your A, but you didn't get your post-secondary readiness distinction. Frisco, no. Plano did not. Socorro ISD, we are preparing. It starts at the elementary level. But look at this number. This number is going to blow you away. These numbers will. Katy, you earned an A, not earned the post-secondary readiness. You have 32%. 32% of your students are economically disadvantaged. Next one that earned an A, Frisco ISD, they have what percent of economically disadvantaged? 13%. In other words, many affluent students are waking up and going to kindergarten at Frisco ISD, going to first grade, going to middle school and high school. Next one, Plano ISD, they earned their A, not earned their post-secondary, 32%. 3 out of 10 students are economically disadvantaged. And then you got Socorro ISD. A, post-secondary readiness, 74% of the students in this district are economically disadvantaged. So when you work together as a team, I will show you Austin, Texas, TEA, I will show the state of Texas and the entire country what we can do with our students if you treat and you educate them as they were your own children and you put them in the right settings and give them the support that they need and that they deserve. And obviously, our amazing teachers are a huge, huge key to that. As a matter of fact, I think some teachers may be in the room. Teachers, please stand. So if you're a teacher in SISD, please stand to be recognized. See some teachers here? Awesome teachers. This is a direct reflection on what they do. Obviously, this wouldn't be possible. These awesome, it's pretty cool when you get a call from TEA Commissioner Mike Morath. I get a call, I didn't recognize the number. It's Grand Prairie number. I was like, yes, who is this Commissioner Mike Morath? Can I talk to you, Superintendent? I said, yes. How may I assist you? Hey, man, you guys are rocking it out. You are the largest. When you get a call from the Commissioner of TEA, HEB, people across the state are noticing what's happened, and it also wouldn't be possible without our awesome parental support. So if you're a parent, if you're a mom, dad, grandma, aunt, please stand so we can recognize you. Any moms, any padres, por favor, pónganse de pie. All parents, thank you. So And again, obviously, we have principals, the entire employees. If you work in SISD, please stand so we can recognize you. If you're an employee, here in SISD, thank you. And so again, this is Team SISD. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this tells you getting an A, getting this post-secondary readiness distinction is not easy. That's why we are the district of endless opportunities of what's happening in our schools. So again, I wanted to share that with you all and celebrate, scream it from, by the way, no school district in El Paso, no district earned an A or earned a post-secondary readiness. We were the only one. As you can see, we're the largest district in the state of Texas, again, to earn both. And that's with 74% economically disadvantaged because we don't make excuses in SISD. So thank you so much and continue to celebrate. Thank you. Thank you. President Nájera, that concludes my comments.
It's up to you. Sure.
We will continue with our agenda now with item number 4, which is board honors with Mr. Escobar.
Good evening, President Nájera, members of the board, and Superintendent Dr. Espinosa. My name is Daniel Escobar, Chief Communications Officer for the district, and it is my pleasure to introduce tonight's recognitions. Tonight, we recognize students who participated in the 2019 Lone Star Leadership Academy this summer. The Lone Star Leadership Program is an academic camp that gives students the opportunity to learn about Texas leaders and what it means to be from the Lone Star State. Participants enhance their problem-solving skills, complete decision-making exercises, use creativity, and practice presentation skills in leadership groups. Students were nominated based on their leadership ability, academic success, and involvement in school and community activities. Congratulations to these outstanding students and representatives of Team SISD. From Horizon Heights Elementary, Christopher Gomez. Also from Horizon Heights, Grayson Gutierrez. From Clark Middle School, Diana Sanchez. From Montwood Middle School, Angel Gutierrez. Also from Montwood Middle, Andrea Martinez. Another student from Montwood Middle, Ariana Moreno. Also from Montwood Middle, Trinity Huerito. From Sunridge Middle School, Jonathan Crow. And from Pebble Hills High School, Cameron Crow. Students, if we can please have you return to the front for a photo with our superintendent and board of trustees. And just a quick note, while they're gathering for that photo, that the portraits taken by our district photographer, Mr. Largo, are posted on our district website. There is a camera icon on the bottom right-hand corner of the webpage where the photos are available for free high-resolution download. Keep smiling, looking right down the center. One more. Congratulations once again. Next, we have a special presentation which will be presented by Socorro AFT President Veronica Hernandez. There's another video. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, President Nájera, Dr. Espinosa, and board members. I'm Veronica Hernandez, President of Socorro American Federation of Teachers. And on behalf of Socorro AFT, our members, and the 31 schools that receive over 25,000 students that receive free books from our Today a Reader, Tomorrow a Leader campaign, we want to express our sincere appreciation to Mr. Guerra for his continued support on giving back to our community. I'd like to indulge you looking at this small video, please, if we don't mind.
This book is titled Grace for President, and it's an excellent book on the campaign process. So this kind of explains how somebody wins an election. This book also emphasizes that if you want to do something and you work hard at it, anything is possible. We have a wonderful partnership with AFT under the leadership of Ms. Veronica Hernandez, and in our library here at Carrasco, we're reading to students. And like I tell them, you gotta make sure that you practice your reading. They'll be strong in math, in social studies, and science. So this is an awesome day, and again, I couldn't thank AFT enough for them issuing books to our students and for promoting reading.
This is Public Schools Week, and in support of that, we kicked it off by giving away the best gift that you could give a kid. It's the gift of reading, for them to start learning at a young age, and for them to have a book of their own. It's just so exciting, those smiles, unforgettable. Launching this 40,000 book giveaway event throughout the district.
I got The Mighty Chewbacca in the Forest of Fear. I like Star Wars. I'm like a geek. If video games make your brain rot and you're just gonna be like, I'll do it later, Mom. I'm not taking out the trash right now. But when you're reading, you learn. You could see new words and you can be like, I should look this up in the dictionary. And you're gonna extend your vocabulary. I picked Wreck-It Ralph's Breaks the Internet. I read a lot of books at home. I think it's really important that we get to learn and that we get to be smarter and that we know what we're gonna do when we grow up. I wanna be a teacher.
I have a student that's homeless. Mom is very tight on money, so this is a great opportunity for her to obtain a free book. They're hardcover books, so it's going to last them. And they're really good books. They're books that they love. They're awesome.
Our union's amazing.
Yes,
I'm so blessed to be a part of this awesome union and just the things that they've been able not only to do for us, but the things that we've been also able to do for our kids. And we know there's the difference.
We've been working together with AFT. This past year, we did a 5th annual golf tournament, and we donated $7,000 to AFT for today's book cost.
Which allowed us to buy the books. And then, of course, they'll help partnering a first book, and then AFT's help, and then the Texas Federation of Teachers at the state level. With the help of our partners, we were able to raise enough money to get a truckload, which is 40,000 books. We're doing this throughout all the elementaries and the middle schools of the district.
We are Team SISD because we work together with our unions, our communities, our parents, our teachers, all as a team. You're going to get more done and be more successful for our students when you're working together.
This is a great team. Everybody loves working together, especially for events like this to support the district, and we are so happy to be part of that. So, Mr. Guerra, it is because of caring individuals like you and your company that our students shine and succeed within our district. With contribution this time around, we were able to give over 34,000 free books to the students and educators in Socorro ISD. You are a true hero. And we'd like to present to you the small token of appreciation on behalf of Socorro AFT and your own very book. From us to you, thank you from deep heart for everything that you do.
And that concludes our recognitions for the evening. Thank you.
No, where are you guys going? You need to stay for the whole meeting.
Yeah, Paul.
Okay, we will continue with item number 6, open
Ms.
forum.
Ms. Nahara, can I just say a few words?
Of course you can.
What I'd like to say is that, you know, this past year, we partnered up and with AFT, and we've done a golf tournament for the past 5 years. This will be our 6th-year golf tournament, 6th annual golf tournament. Past couple of years, we've worked together with AFT, and the first year, we raised over $2,000 that we gave them a check for. Well, last year, we raised over $45,000, and AFT was a big part of that, and we gave them $7,000 back to the community. So, you know, the word that they gave me, I don't need that award, and I shouldn't receive it because they should receive the award, because what they did, they went to every one of our elementary campuses, over 30 schools, in a 45-day span, and they gave away over 35,000 books. I just gave them the check. They did all the work. So we all deserve to give you all a round of applause. Thank you all for what you all do. And just in case, if anybody wants to play in this year's tournament, it's going to be October 24th at Horizon Golf Course. Again, we're going to give away some money to the YWCA, AFT, and El Paso Community Foundation. So if anybody wants to volunteer, please give us a call. Thank you.
Okay, open forum. Our first speaker is Mike Evans.
Madam President Nahara, Dr. Espinoza, and board, thank you for giving us a few minutes to speak tonight. I represent Cigna, and at Cigna, we put your members' health at the center of everything that we do, and it's a very important cause for us. And one of the things that we do is we recognize organizations that have made a similar commitment. So for us, health isn't just about physical health, it's about mental and emotional health as well. And it's a tremendous undertaking to make that successful. And in order to do that, you have to have the dedication and commitment from the leadership team. You have to have dedication and commitment from an HR team, Mr. Campoya and his team. In order to execute a wellness plan that is effective and has results. So in 2013, Cigna started a program called the Cigna WellBeing Award. That award started as a pilot program. In 2019, it's now a nationally recognized program. So this year, we received over 300 applications for the award, and this is a national award. The applicants then are reviewed by a cross-functional team, and the review process is evaluated in a couple of different ways. But they look at best practices as it relates to your wellness program, your infrastructure, workplace environment and policies, the program implementation, data collection, incentives, and overall participation. Then all the organizations are then scored based on their results and those best practices. So the good news is your hard work has paid off, and the awards are not over. So it's through the efforts of your HR team led by Mr. Campoya and the benefits committee and their dedication to executing this plan. They led by example some of the programs that they implemented that were very well received. They implemented a robust communication program, unique programs like Fruit Friday to get people to eat healthier. on-site health and education seminars to teach people about their mental, emotional, and physical health, and introducing programs like OMADA that teach people how to prevent diabetes. So it's through these programs that we're proud to present you with Cigna WellBeing Award for 2019.
Wow. Well-being, right?
See what happens, Rudy, when you got a new chair?
Okay. That was great. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Vibert Ski.
Madam President, members of the board, Mr. Superintendent and members of the cabinet, administration, teachers, staff, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'll start with some good news, and the good news that I want to start with is to report on a self-promotion. Recently, I completed my professional responsibility exam, and to my surprise, passed it on the first sitting. And so I've been patting myself since last week and spending a lot of money to entertain friends and family who wanted to celebrate this good news with me, but did not want to share in the expense. Having said that, I want to say that less than a month ago, this community was rocked by the most traumatic event that happened on the 3rd of August. While we are thankful to God for our safety and our peace of mind, there is no doubt that our confidence and our sense of security was unsettled. Thankfully, we received a ray of hope and sunshine delivered to us on the 15th of August by the Texas Education Agency. My colleagues and I have a sense of pride as we read the district's report card, since being a part of an A-grade school district does a lot for one's morale and sense of confidence as we do our job. At this time, I want to congratulate the teachers and staff, the superintendent and cabinet, the president and the board, both past and present, and most importantly, the students, the parents, and the community as a whole for supporting us as we climb this mountain towards achieving an A. I want to encourage both the board and the administration to do everything possible to make sure that not only do we maintain the A, but improve and excel even more. Even with the existing challenges that we are facing, we cannot be deterred by violence, nor can we be ashamed to recognize and celebrate our Hispanic and Latino heritage here in the borderland. Towards this end, our partners in the George Washington and Abraham Lincoln Club in collaboration with the administration, staff, and students of Eastlake High School, have decided to host a Hispanic and Latinx American Heritage Month activity that runs from the 7th all the way to the 28th, only on Saturdays to avoid any disruption. This year, we will be focusing on the contributions of Hispanic and Latinx Americans in the field of science, technology, national security, the arts, and the entertainment, in helping to build a stronger, more prosperous, and inclusive society in our country. It is time that we do more to reflect the accomplishments of our foreparents and our present generations, so that we can reclaim our sense of confidence and pride in our heritage. Because of this new focus, our partners in both the George Washington and Abraham Lincoln Club wishes to inform the board that we will be postponing the Heroes Run from the 5th of October to the early part of November. After all, 4 weeks of positive self-reflection and talking about all the good things we have achieved will take a lot of energy, and we do not want to tap that resource out. The tournament is basically to do the following things: to showcase the talents and skills and educational attainment of our students, to highlight some of the work done by our teachers, staff, high school and early college, to honor the contributions made by Hispanic and Latino Americans, and most importantly, to celebrate and at the same time help us heal through positive self-reflection and positive thinking. I believe that as we are on our way to overcoming these fears and insecurities created by the events of August 3rd here in El Paso, we are going to experience a sense of camaraderie, as seen and demonstrated by the administration and staff at all our schools, who during this period of time took time off to remember those who have passed on, those who are wounded, and those who are suffering from this traumatic event. I believe we are Socorro ISD strong. We can believe that we are El Paso strong, and we can rest assured that we are Texas strong. But most importantly, I believe we are American strong. I pray that God may continue to watch over us as we continue to work together to build a strong, a more inclusive, and safer country for all. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our next speakers are Vanessa Arellano and Rebecca Orozco.
Good evening, President Nájera, members of the board, and Dr. Espinosa. My name is Vanessa Arellano, and this is Rebecca Orozco. We are here representing the speech-language pathologists and appreciate the opportunity to share more information regarding our stipends and the salary comparisons. Prior to our reclassification last year, Socorro offered a $9,500 stipend to SLPs who held a Texas state license and American Speech Hearing Association certificate of clinical competence. After our reclassification, our district no longer offers the stipend to our department. East Leda does offer a $15,000 stipend. EPISD offers an $11,000 stipend, and Clint offers an $11,500 stipend. Last board meeting, we had the opportunity to share information, and there were numerous questions relating to our salary, daily rates, and take-home compensations, so we hope to make those numbers a bit clearer tonight. We have come up with a table. I don't know if it's something that I can share. There are copies for everybody. On this table, you will see the mid, min, and max daily rates for each neighboring school district. Starting with East Leda, you'll see the daily rates, the 187-day salary, the stipend that's offered, and then the take-home salary at each respective point. You'll be able to see, I'll go ahead and just cover the midpoint comparisons. Socorro Independent School District is $9,000 below East Leda at the midpoint, $6,000 below EPISD at the midpoint, and $13,000 below Clint at the midpoint. We hope that these comparisons and figures answer a few of the questions posed last board meeting, and really does show that Socorro Independent School District is not comparable to our neighboring districts when it comes to take-home salary. Ms. Orozco is going to go ahead and elaborate on the impact this has caused in our department.
I'd like to add a little bit more information to consider how not having a stipend has affected us. We are a master's level degree requirement. We also require a Texas license. We also require a national certificate of clinical competency. This license and this certificate of clinical competency must be obtained by continuing our education. This license and this clinical competency is an expense on our part each year to work for SISD. This has impacted us recently by making it more difficult to recruit and retain certified speech-language pathologists. Since the end of 2018-2019, 3 positions were vacated, and 2 more since the start of the new school year. This is added to our workload as we need to train new staff and mentor the new employees that are being hired, some of them being assistants, which we are required to let them work under our license. We're not compensated for using our license, and but we do it just because it helps our children here at SISD. We continue to service our kids individually and give them the service that they are required. In communication disorders, we also treat them in Spanish, which again, all the other districts do give a stipend for treating and evaluating children in Spanish. We are not given that stipend here at SISD. We would like you to consider all these impacts that are directly impacting us in every way. Thank you.
If I can just add on the table, the figures are taken from this school year, the 2019-2020 salary schedules that were posted for each respective district. The Socorro salary schedule is not posted, so that was a phone call was made to the district to verify the mid, and max points. Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate your time.
President Nakara? Ms. Nakara, President Nakara, can you see that Dr. Espinosa looks into what was presented to us today and to verify everything?
Yes.
Please, thank you.
Our next speaker is Jeanette Contreras.
Good afternoon, President Nájera, board members, Dr. Espinosa. I too wanted to clarify some information that was presented at the previous board meeting, and thank you. That was a special board meeting, and you all listened to everything that we had to say. We had some time limitations, and so some of the questions that came up I don't feel were completely answered. One of the things in Ms. Cooper's report that was stated, when comparing salaries within the region, the diagnosticians in that report were reported to be 7% above the market. The SLP assistants were 11% above the market, and the SLPs, the speech-language pathologists, were 4% below the market. Those figures were generated by comparing base salaries of professionals that work different contracts. For example, the SISD diagnostician contract is 212 days, whereas, for example, in EPISD, it's 196. That equates to SISD diagnosticians working 15 days more or 3 weeks more per year. That reported 7% increase is deceiving because it is based on the working the longer contract. An accurate assessment is to compare the daily rates of individuals with the same number of years of service. Using this as the formula will show the incongruity in salaries. So we need to look at the daily rates. In addition to our neighboring districts have higher daily rates, they also have received stipends to compensate them for additional duties, the work hours, and the specializations of each individual. By absorbing the stipend into the salary for SISD professionals, potential future earnings of these 3 critical professions has been severely stunted. As other districts receive raises on the base of their daily rate, which is already higher than those in SISD, and in addition will be compensated by their stipend. SISD professionals will continue to see the gap in pay. Furthermore, exacerbating the inequitable pay are the enormous workloads. The neighboring districts are honoring the recommended ratios of 1:45 for the SLPs and 1:80 for diagnosticians. In SISD, on an average, we carry caseloads that are over 40% higher, in some cases even more. Another point that was expressed in the report by Ms. Cooper was that we were notified within the appropriate time frame for the reclassification. We were, in fact, sent a congratulatory letter and an email in early July. However, nowhere on those notifications was a salary notice. In truth, as the correspondence was written, we were deceived into believing that we were reclassified to the existing 104 scale. It became evident after numerous unsuccessful emails and attempts by staff to obtain salary information that the details of how we would be compensated was not yet figured. It wasn't until late August that we were informed that our stipend would be absorbed into our salary, which did change our daily rate to look like we were now on an administrative 104 scale. In reality, we all earn no more than the district annual raise given to all employees. By the time this information was provided to us, the professionals lost the opportunity to make decisions in their best interest regarding applying for and accepting positions outside the district. Throughout this process, we have learned a few things. There isn't an explanation for the formula used to figure out salaries. The midpoint is on a sliding scale, which we are told is always sliding out of reach. This is a reason that the professionals in these three categories who have 15 to 20 years of service are not being compensated at the midpoint of the 104 salary scale. There are only about 3 people from each group who have reached midpoint, and they have over 25 years of experience. They are actually at the end or high point of their careers. Removal of stipends was not considered or actuated for any of the other groups of professionals in the entire districts other than the 3 that we're representing today, the diagnosticians, the speech-language pathologist assistants, and the speech-language pathologists. We emphatically ask for your diligent consideration to reinstate stipends in an effort to lessen the gap of inequitable pay so that comparable merited compensation is restored. And just thank you for considering the stipends again.
Thank you. And our final speaker tonight is Sandra Castro.
Good evening. My name is Sandra Castro, proud community member of Socorro District. I would like to thank the members of the board and all the audience for their attention to this important matter. I have been an active community member and volunteer for over 20 years for the Socorro Independent School District. As you know, our district has been recognized with several awards across the state of Texas, and the most recent one, the A-grade rating Texas Education Agency Accountability and Postsecondary Readiness. Thanks to the team effort made by the faculty, staff, students, parents, and community. And of course, the great leadership once again of our Superintendent Jose Espinosa. Thank you. This is the reason I'm here today for the 3rd time, because we are a district community that cares. Due to the recent shooting event in our city and the loss of so many lives, I would like to know if we have any events scheduled for the International Day of Peace, which is Saturday, September the 21st, 2019. If there's nothing planned district-wide, I believe this event can be a great opportunity to continue supporting our motto of El Paso Strong. Another important date is Friday, September the 20th. Call #Fridays for Future, a global strike for climate change promoted by our recent Nobel Peace Prize nominee, Greta Thunberg. A petition before that students doing community service projects can be a way to encourage individuals to participate in different initiatives that will impact our current lifestyle to benefit our planet or common home. Let us not wait until Earth Day, but let us begin now before it's too late. I have provided each board member in the month of March with the information of the Earth Cube. And today, with your permission, I would like to also share with you a beautiful tool to promote peace. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And you can feel like you're going back to kinder. Okay? Because you're gonna cut, you're gonna glue, and then you're gonna play with the cube, and you're gonna leave it.
Thank you.
Read it, reflect on it, make some actions, changes,
Very cool.
and then share with your family.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your attention, and I look forward to hearing your decision to these matters. Please, once again, as I told you last time, but I do it again because I think it's very important, you know, because we never know if we're going to be here in the next 5 minutes, right? So please, as you go back home, take the time to reflect on what you have seen and heard, and let us continue improving the life of others, especially our children. Thank you for your attention. God bless you. Bendiciones.
Thank you, ma'am. Item number 7, public hearing. A, proposed 2019-2020 tax rate. Mr. Reza?
Yes, President Nájera, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board. Tonight, the administration is conducting a public hearing on the proposed tax rate for the 2019-20 school year. The date and time of this hearing was published in the El Paso Times as required by state law. The purpose of which is to provide the public with information on the proposed tax rate and to allow our taxpayers to provide feedback to the governing board. But first, let's just go over the budget that was adopted by the board back in June. The board adopted 3 budgets, namely the general fund budget, the child nutrition program budget, and the debt service budget. The grand total of those budgets was $517,041,022. Also, with respect to assessed property values, the general fund tax collections were based on the assumption that our property values would grow by up to $10.3 billion for an increase of 6.52%. Our actual values came in at $10,152,174,081, which is an increase of 4.1% from the prior year. So this year we'll endeavor to ensure that we review our tax collections to see if we meet our revenue tax collections projections. Now you're going to have to bear with me on the next couple of slides. The Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas, the first rating, that's our financial rating, is required that school districts must discuss how changes in property values can impact school districts' revenues due to a funding lag. So this is a new indicator which requires a school district to discuss within 120 days of the adopted budget the fact that there is a funding lag that could impact a school district's revenues. If a school district administration fails to discuss this matter with the governing board, then the highest financial rating a school district can receive is a B for this fiscal year, 2020. Consequently, I'm going to discuss the funding lag, even though it's been outdated because of House Bill 3, so just bear with me. So as you know, the Foundation School Program consists of both state and local funding, and the key variables in state funding are student attendance, property values set by the state, and property tax rates. What's important to keep in mind is that prior to House Bill 3, which has just passed this year, property values by the state were for prior years, not current years. And the Comptroller's Property Tax Division calculated the local funding assessment, which reduced the state share of funding. The difference between the local funding assignment and the current tax collections could cause a funding lag. So very simply, it's this. What you have here is just a slide showing the variables that we use for state and local funding. The top row shows property values. The third row shows tax collections. The row in yellow shows values set by the state. What's important to keep in mind and what TA wanted to make sure was communicated to the board was this. In a year when property values went down for school districts, a school district could be impacted in two ways. First of all, your tax collections would be lower because those values are lower. But more importantly, because the state values were set a year behind, those values that were set, that were used for state funding purposes were higher, and that would reduce in lower state funding for the school district. And so a school district would have, I guess, a shortfall in two areas. And that is why it was important for TA to make sure that this year, CFOs talked to their board about this funding lag dilemma. Now, they weren't aware of the fact, and nobody was, that this recent legislative session, House Bill 3, eliminated this requirement, because now state funding is required to use current year values. So this is required for the first reading, so there's the presentation to make that requirement. So let me continue. As mentioned before, the administration published a notice in the public of this public hearing in the El Paso Times on August the 2nd. The notice listed the time and date of this hearing, as well as the intent to adopt the following tax rates. For maintenance and operations, 97 cents per $100 of assessed valuation. For the interest and sinking fund, a tax rate of .398954, for a total tax rate of $1.368954. This is a tax decrease. It's a 1.2 cent tax decrease from the prior year, and it's a result of House Bill 3. Now, the governing board will later in this board meeting adopt those proposed tax rates, as well as the resolution setting the tax rate. Now, just for your information and for the public, here's a historical timeline of the tax rates adopted by the board since 2012. From 2012 to 2017, we had the same tax rate of $1.27. In 2018, because of the successful bond election, we had to increase our tax rate by 10 cents, so we went up to $1.38. And this year, we're recommending a decrease of 1.2 cents. Here is a listing of the proposed tax rates for the surrounding school districts. House Bill 3 required all school districts to lower their maintenance and operations tax rate. And as you can see, Socorro ISD, along with other school districts, continues to have the lowest maintenance and operation tax rate at 97 cents. And as published in the El Paso Times, presented as a tax impact on the average resident for the Socorro Independent School District. As mentioned before, the district is proposing a tax decrease from the prior year, but as you can see, there's an increase in the average taxable value for the average homeowner. So this results in a tax impact on the average homeowner of $35.17. So that is my presentation. Are there any questions from the governing board?
Are there any questions? No, sir, Ms. Teresa. As this is a public hearing, if anyone in the audience would like to make a comment on the tax rate, if you'll please step to the podium at this time. Do not run and push each other in this huge rush to get up there. Nobody? Jeez. Wait, Steve, were you going to speak? I saw you move. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Teresa.
Appreciate it.
Item 8, district reports. A, facilities report. Mr. Iington.
Good evening, President Nahara, Dr. Espinosa, and members of the board. My report starts on, I believe, in your booklet, page 22. We had a facility committee meeting earlier this month, and we reviewed some of these projects, and I will go over these projects with you at this time. The first one is Socorro High School. Package 1 has been bid, and we've actually started construction on phase 1 of the package, which is basically the site and the parking lot and the utilities and site work. We've also prepared some of the existing buildings in order for us to begin our demolition of some of the buildings. Later on this evening, we will discuss in a new agenda item the remaining package or the remaining GMP for the project. But as Dr. Espinosa mentioned, we do have a community meeting tomorrow night, which we will be showing the information and the status of where we're at with the Socorro High School project. These projects you have seen, these slides you have seen, basically the yellow is the phase one portion of the project. And that's what we are working on right now, and we will continue to work on it until we receive board approval to proceed into the next phase or the next GMP. The darker area in this slide is the Gym B, which is going to be demolished, and that's what we put up the temporary walls for in order to begin the demolition of that work. We're also working currently rerouting some of the hydronics piping and some of the stuff, the pipes and everything that feeds the building in order for this demolition to take place. The next project is Cactus Trails. This project was opened and completed. We started school back 4 weeks ago, and we are working on doing punch list. We're doing the warranty work and the punch list items after hours when the kids are not there and on the weekend. And I believe, Mr. Gondola, you had asked for a cactus, since it was Cactus Trail.
Again, Mr. Ianton, you can't name a school Cactus Trail and then not have a cactus, you know, so.
Pass out. There's a pink one and a yellow one. These are from Mrs. Thomas, the principal.
Thank you, ma'am.
You have to remove the little plastic tip in order for it to ride.
Very cool.
Too cute. Cactus tree.
You can give them to the cabinet and a few others.
That's fun.
So we are working on to do the punch list and to finalize Cactus Trails. The next project is Montwood High School. This project, we are working on the sports package. We are working on the underground and the electrical services to the sports lighting, to the softball and the baseball fields. Next month, we will be bringing a GMP for the remaining portion of the work. We have meetings set up with Buford Thompson, BTC, to review those, and my goal is to present those to you in next month in the September meeting to approve the second package of the GMP for Montwood High School. Americas, we are working with the architect and the contractors in order to develop timelines to work on that sport package and to develop some final costing on the GMP on America's High School. El Dorado, the sports lighting package has been approved. We actually have a meeting tomorrow to review that, to start a pre-construction meeting on that. And we will start that work over at El Dorado High School and continue to work on that. And I will be bringing you an additional information on that building when we get further along on our GMP. The new student activity complex. The end of July was a busy month as far as real estate goes in the district. We finally closed on our 15 acres, the remaining 15 acres of the 60 acres that we need for the SAC. We closed, like I stated, at the end of July, and this basically slide shows The yellow area is all of the 60 acres for the proposed new SAC. The blue line basically shows the new property line. You can see that there is an area that borders Joe Battle, and it says that it is, I think it's 17 acres plus or minus something. We sold that to the Public Service Board, and we are also trying to acquire that little L-shaped property up at the corner of Bob Hope. But our 60 acre, which is shown in yellow, has been acquired, and we are starting the design with the architect, HKS, out of Dallas. And in fact, a few of us went up there a couple of weeks ago to tour some facilities, and we are scheduled to have a all-day design charrette with the architects in September, and I think we are still working on a possible meeting that night or something. But
on the 5th.
On the 5th, yes, ma'am. So that project is coming along. I will show you another slide when I get to the new combo on how the two will be basically connected. You can see Bob Hope at the top of the picture, how it angles down, and you see it kind of coming on the north side of our property. It's actually a little bit of different alignment. We're working with the county. But you can see the dark line between the yellow and the existing stadium. That's the city limits. Everything my left of that is El Paso. Everything to the right or in the yellow is the county. So there is some talk, and we have another agenda item on this that I'll be presenting that will ask to do a master plan, because we've got some things that we would like to work out in that master plan if the board approves. The 16 gyms are coming along. We were a little delayed on some additional testing reports that the various fire marshals and entity had requested. We got those. We're finalizing those, and we are finishing the drawings. So here in the next few weeks, we will start putting those out for proposals and hopefully start construction on those in the next couple of months on all three packages on the auxiliary gym. The support service facility, which goes out here in front of our building, is scheduled to go out for advertisement, for re-advertising tomorrow, the first advertisement. We have a pre-bid meeting scheduled for August the 28th, and then we accept proposals on that project on September the 25th. So we're giving them a good almost 2 months to bid it. But I know contractors, some of them procrastinate and wait till the last minute, because I used to do it when I was a contractor. So, but hopefully we'll get a little bit better response to this time around, and we will be able to start that project on the support service facility. The new combo school, as I stated, we closed on this property too, and the first slide I'm going to show you, I believe, is kind of the location. We bought 37.68 acres for the new combo school, and the far on the left-hand side is Mission Ridge, and then over kind of where the north arrow is, somewhere over in there is Peyton Road. And then you can see the curved row that's kind of in blue. That is Bob Hope. This will, hopefully my slides are, this will kind of show you an overall. You can see the new SAC. You can see Bob Hope kind of transversed and comes across the corner of our site, comes across that desert area, comes up the hill, crosses over Mission Ridge, and then comes into the our new site for the school, new combo school. Dr. Espinosa, myself, and a couple of the cabinet members four-wheeled out there the first day of school and saw the site. It sits up on the hill, and it has a nice view of East Lake High School. You know, so it's, and all that is being developed. Now, what's interesting is, and the reason I showed this slide, everything in pink are new subdivisions that are in the planning stage. And the one that's interesting is the one south of the SAC. That's that big hill, and that looks like that could be a multi-family apartment complex on Southview and then south of the SAC. But it also shows a road coming out of our new property that ties into Paseo de Este, you know, so in the future. So, but this was very enlightening when we put the two together. And the distance between, the center of the SAC to the center of the new site where the star is roughly 2 miles. That's about 2 miles apart. We are scheduling to have kickoff meetings on this project beginning in September. We've got our team set up on that, the architect and the contractor, and my colleagues, Ms. Ratana and Ms. Zapata, will be helping in the design of the new school on the the elementary and the middle school portion of that site. That concludes the construction report. Wanted to show you a couple of pictures of Socorro Middle School. The one says before is an old carpet that was removed from there, and we went in and stained the concrete floors in all of the classrooms. Took the carpet out of the classrooms and put stained concrete in there. And then we did the same thing. I do not have it says before, but that's actually during construction. But I don't have a before picture, but that's before the stain. And then this is Campestre Elementary School, what we did at Campestre over the summer. I believe that, oh, no. Mr. Guerra mentioned his golf tournament. Our golf tournament is October the 4th, and the reason I'm saying we've only got 8 teams left.
You've only got what?
8 teams left.
Don't worry, I'll take all the teams on my side, my golf tournament. Don't worry.
Okay. So I need to stress to everybody who might want to play, please contact Gracie in my office, and then she can sign you up and take your money. And I need to know of the board member who would like to play in the tournament, so we can also put you on.
I will be fighting for my crown to take it back since someone.
Your longest drive.
Yeah.
So it is October the 4th. It is the first Friday of the fall intersession, and it is a bye week. So there's no football games.
Oh,
What time is that?
nice.
At what time?
It starts, sign up, oh, it doesn't say it on there. We usually sign up around 10 o'clock, and then around 11 to 11:30, we have a hamburger buffet, so you can eat have lunch before you go out, and then we usually shotgun it around, or start it around 12:30. And then we have a dinner and presentation that evening also. But I found out that it's a bye week. We don't have any football games or anything that day. And it is on Friday this year instead of a Monday last year. So please let us know. It fills up fast, and I had to turn away a few teams last year, but we have, I think, 8 spots or 8 teams left. Questions?
Mr. Ianton,
Yes,
sir. Can you go back to the slide where where we have the combo school, please?
Yes, sir.
Right there. and you and I talked about it, and if you mentioned it right now, I apologize. As you can see, where the future SAC is at, you have Bob Hope, and that's Bob Hope in the red line, right?
Yes,
That's
sir.
the street, the red line.
Yes, sir.
It cuts right through our property.
That's the tentative lineup, and that's what we have gotten so far from the county. We don't know exactly how it's going to do, but yes, it's going to come somewhere through our property, yes.
Okay.
I mean, does that disrupt our parking or where we're able to place?
It could, and that's why I want to look at the agenda item of doing a master plan, because there are some, I've seen some, or the staff has too, a few of the staff has seen what potential concepts of a SAC and what it would allow. You know, we still have to put approximately 2,000 parking spaces, and that takes up a good chunk of property, you know, but it also, there is going to be some space remaining on the site. So what are that, you know, what possibility could that be? Maintenance and operation facility, it could be additional playfield, it could be, who knows?
Okay.
That's why we want to develop some concepts and develop a master plan on developing the site when we determine how these things are going to go through it. Then we have the Aurora that comes diagonally, and I didn't show that on there, but you can see it. You can see it. That is a flood zone, but I've never seen water in there before. But we've got a detention pond north of that, and then with the property that the PSB has bought, you know, the intent there was to possibly do another pond and facility there. So there's a lot of possibilities that could go on this site, because we've got some acreage to do it, and you know what would be best, you know, for the district. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Arrington.
Thank you.
Item number 9, consent agenda. Are there any items to be pulled?
Motion to approve consent agenda?
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Rodriguez and a second by Mr. Guerra to approve consent agenda. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion carries. Item 10, new business A, consider approval of 2019-2020 district and campus improvement plans. Dr. Starkey?
Good evening, President Nahara, members of the board, and Dr. Espinosa. I'm coming before you tonight, as I do in a yearly fashion, to ask for your approval of our district improvement plan for 2019-2020 and the campus improvement plans for 2019-2020. Our state law, of course, is always that you must approve that. The district must develop all of these in each year, and then you all must look at that, evaluate that, and approve that for each school year. Okay, just really quickly, that's a brief timeline of where we are. We begin with the development. We take a look at all of the comprehensive needs assessment, performance objectives, strategies of the budgeting, go through, provide feedback, refine them, then take it to cabinet, then bring it to you all in committee and here in the regular board meeting. And then we go ahead, and once I ask for you all's approval, if you all will give us that, then we implement the plans from there and take them for another A rating and another post-secondary readiness distinction. Okay. And of course, our 5 district goals are aligned to the strategic directions that we live by with Dr. Espinosa and approved by you all. Every plan, the district plan, has these as the goals. Every campus has these as the goals. Those are unchanged. Those are the gospel right there. The place where it gets a little bit different is in the performance objectives, because the district is going to always have their own, and each campus is going to always have their own, depending on need. And then ultimately that journey is undertaken to finally make it to the collective success that we see year after year, especially in this year. This is just the last slide right here. The objectives for the district and each campus were provided to you all either through the platform link in the SISD or by CD if you were interested in any particular objective, the district, any particular campus area. You would have had an opportunity to look at that if you had preferred to do so. This is just an example of one of those where we have goal 2. This is at one of our elementary schools, Contreras, and then it has 5 objectives there that have to do with student assessment performance. Okay? And it talks about approaches, improving meets level, improving master's level, improving reading, math, science, social studies, and then special populations. And most of the objectives are similar to that format, so I just wanted to have out that example. And that concludes my presentation. I'll entertain any questions if you all have any for me.
Any questions for Dr. Stark? You would like an approval now.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion.
Should make him sweat a little bit. No, thank you. I appreciate that. Now do the other side, please. There you go.
I have a motion by Ms. Rodriguez and a second by Mr. Gondeta. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Starkey.
Thank you all.
Item
Mrs.
B.
Nakara?
Yes,
Before we
Mr.
go any further, and
Gondeta.
I apologize. Just looked up and I want to acknowledge a certain individual that's in our midst today. We have Mrs. Mary Perez, ex-city councilwoman for the city of Socorro and community activist. Just wanted to say hi and thank you for attending our meeting.
Item B, consider approval of 2019-2020 maintenance and operations tax rate. Mr. Ressa.
Yes, President Nájera, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board, the administration is recommending that the board approve the maintenance and operation tax rate of 97 cents per $100 evaluation. Just to let you know that the M&O tax rate is 97 cents. It's higher than the effective M&O tax rate, which is about 94.3 cents. And because of that, we are requesting a voice vote on this particular line item.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
We're requesting a voice vote. In other words, that each single board member be polled whether they're approving the tax rate as proposed.
On each tax rate or just on the maintenance and operations?
It'll be the maintenance operation and it'll be the resolution.
Okay.
Ms. Nájera?
Mr. Gondeta.
And the reason for that? See, that's what you got to say.
Exactly. It's required.
That works.
Aye.
I need a motion.
No, I need a
I
motion.
don't know. I'm looking at everybody's looking at everybody.
I need a motion, guys. Y'all gotta wake up tonight. Still need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Mena, was that you?
Yeah, that was me.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Mena and a second by Mr. Gondeta. Is there any further discussion? At this time, we'll take a voice count. I've never done this before.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Garcia.
Yes.
Mr. Mena.
Yes.
Mr. Guetta.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Aye.
I vote aye.
See.
And the motion carries.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Reza. Item C, consider approval of 2019-2020 interest and sinking fund tax rate.
President Nájera, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board, administration recommends approval of the interest and sinking tax rate of .398954 per $100 evaluation.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Do you need a voice on this one?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Gondeta and a second by Ms. Rodriguez. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item D, consider approval of resolution which officially levies the tax rate for the 2019-2020 school year. Mr. Reza.
Yes, President Nájera, members of the board, this is the resolution that officially sets the tax rate. Historically, traditionally, we've always requested that the board president read out the resolution to the public prior to recommending the approval of this resolution. And again, this year we're asking for a voice vote as well.
I'm sorry, I'm having to pull it up. Just give me
Sure.
one moment, please.
Would you like me to just?
No. It says 137.
Do you want me to?
Okay.
It's page
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here if you complain.
Just be patient, please. The Socorro Independent School District Resolution adopting tax rates for 2019-2020. Do I read from the recitals?
Yes, ma'am, all the way down.
1, recitals. The school district has adopted a fiscal year commencing July 1st and ending June 30th. The school district has received the certified taxable property value within the school district from the El Paso Central Appraisal District. The Board of Trustees has published the notice of public meeting to discuss the proposed budget and tax rate as required by Section 44.004 of the Texas Education Code. The Board of Trustees has conducted a public meeting on the proposed tax rate on August 20th, 2019. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Socorro Independent School District as follows. The maintenance and operations tax rate per $100 of valuation of property in the school district for the school year 2019-2020 shall be 0.970000. The interest and sinking tax rate per $100 of valuation of property in the school district for the school year 2019-2020 shall be 0.398954. The total tax rate for the 2019-2020 school year shall be $1.368954. This tax rate will raise more taxes for maintenance and operations than last year's tax rate. The tax rate will effectively be raised by 2.83% and will raise taxes for maintenance and operation on a $100,000 home by approximately $28.30. And with approval, it'll be approved and adopted on today's date, August 20th.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Rodriguez and a second by Mr. Mena. Is there any further discussion? This resolution does require a voice vote. Mr. Garcia?
Yes.
Mr. Mena?
Yes.
Mr. Guetta?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Ms.
Aye.
Rodriguez?
Aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Mason. E, consider approval of additional service proposal with HKS Inc. Architects to develop a master plan for the Student Activities Complex. Mr. Ellington.
Yes, President Nájera and Dr. Espinosa, members of the board. As I stated in my facility report, and I don't have the slide to refer back to, but you saw the slide. With the addition of that 60 acres, we feel like that a master plan of both facilities would be helpful, because we feel like that there could be some area available for future usage or for future needs and stuff. So in developing a master plan and connecting the two facilities, this will help determine that and then help us propose any other facilities in the future. The master plan presented by, or the proposal presented by HKS is on your book, in your book on page 139. They are proposing to do this study for $100,000. We have done these studies in the past, master plan studies, to help us on larger projects like high schools and things like that. And we feel like with everything, working with the city, working with the county, working with the alignments of the roads and all the development going around the new SAC in that particular area of East Lake and north of Paseo de Este, the growth is just phenomenal. And you saw everything in the pink area. So administration recommends approval of the additional services proposed by HKS, develop a master plan for the student activity complex.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Guerra and a second by Mr. Gondeta. Any further questions?
Yes, Ms. Nájera.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Arrington, so the purpose of this again?
It's just to develop the site. We're gonna, the proposed new site, or the new SAC, excuse me, could kind of converge on the existing site. So how do we develop it? There has been preliminary discussions with the architect and with the staff of an amphitheater along with the new SAC, how all that ties together, and the parking and circulation, and especially the county, and the county with Bob Hope coming down. We are working on that to develop what that alignment is.
So what would this be? What would this group be doing? Because I understand we have an architect already that.
That it'd be the same architect. They're going to develop a master plan that shows the whole, the 60 acres that we bought plus the 50 acres.
This is an additional cost, Mr.
Yes.
Arrington?
Yes.
How much more is the additional cost?
100,000.
$100,000 to do the full study.
Why doesn't it say that here? It says to be determined.
Oh, it says it in the letter. I apologize. It says it in the letter.
There it is. Yeah, master plan.
It says it in the letter.
And this is something that's needed, right? Of course, Mr. Arrington?
I think so, because of everything that's going on in that area, and you know, with the development that's going out there, how it's all going to tie in. We're going to need other structures, other access in and out of that site.
And this will cover everything.
This will plan for all that. Yes, sir.
Okay.
President Nájera, Mr. Arrington, you said it would plan for all that, but what exactly does that mean?
It means that once we start, and it's September the 5th, it'll all start coming together. When we start looking at the existing SAC, and we're gonna, you know, we've always been talking about building a SAC next to it, right, similar to Katy, and well, Katy's the only one, and how the two function between, how they are interconnected. Our athletics have certain thoughts, our fine arts program, you know, have certain thoughts on utilizing the site as far as band competition, using one field as a practice and using the other field as a competition. There could be a possibility that the two come together. You know, it's all conceptual right now, but if depending on how the second SAC is placed and how the development of that property that we purchased around it is developed, what is that going to be used for? There could be, and I don't like to throw out thoughts and stuff, but there could be enough to build 3 or 4 soccer fields. There could be, you know, it allows for all that future needs. You know, right now we're building a SAC and an auditorium. What's going to be the remaining use of that area, and how is that going to be developed? It could be a performing arts center.
But in this letter, it already has that information, so has that been discussed?
No.
Has that been
No.
discussed with us to see, okay,
No.
what?
No, that's just some of the thoughts and stuff. The September the 5th meeting, which we are hoping to have with the board in a workshop form, you'll see what we've been looking at internally, administration, on how 2 facilities could function together. But
So I guess my question to you would be, why would we not wait until after that? Or do we need to approve this to be able to look at this master plan between the 2? I guess I'm not understanding.
well, the master plan goes in conjunction with what we're doing. If we build a site, if we build a new SAC all the way on the edge of the property, what's going to happen in between? If we move the SAC closer to the existing SAC, that helps us to develop, you know, look at possibility. And those will come out in master plan studies. There'll be multiple studies done, multiple options as far as, you know, depending on where that second SAC is going to be located and what's going to occur. You know, all of this is, you know, a part of the master plan study. Then once a master plan is completed, we're long gone from now. Somebody wants to go out there and build something else, they have something to go by. And hopefully utilities and all that stuff have been around that area and nothing's been put on an area that we could build a future facility, whatever that may be.
But wouldn't that planning be considered in the building? I mean,
To a degree, it would. I know what you're coming from, you know. To a degree, it would, but this is such a large project, and there's, you know, we can just tell them, design a SAC, design an auditorium, and then we'll deal with the remaining acreage as it could be. But a master plan helps to look into the future of what that could be. It could be multiple things, like I said. It could be fields, it could be softball, baseball competition fields. It could be a gymnasium. It could be, you know, depending on the area left over. You know, we can just tell them, no, just design the facility, and then we'll just leave the rest of the site as is.
so this would incorporate, and I'm sorry, again, this
No,
is,
that's okay.
you know we've had this conversation,
Yes,
definitely
yes.
not my forte.
Yes.
But again, if we're looking at building a new SAC and the plans for a new SAC, we've already talked about that, that's already planned. So if we're already looking at that, why are we looking at another $100,000 to continue a plan that we've kind of already started talking about? Does that include just, okay, we're gonna look at putting the SAC here, you've got all this other space, you could use this for this? Isn't that something that we could kind of look at already without?
We could, but in the legacy or Katy ISD, it was a flat piece of land, and you set 2. But ours is up here and one is down here. What's going to happen in between the 2? How is that slope going to be? I think it's going to benefit us more so than Katy, because it's going to give, you know, certain areas, and it's going to depress one of the facilities. But all that is taken into consideration. We can design, we can just tell them, design the facility, and we'll deal with the rest of the stuff. But a master plan, like I've tried to explain, kind of puts it all together and any future potential. We don't know what the future is. We would like to get input from my colleagues, the board, in workshops, in charrettes on if we had 20 acres left over, what could that be?
Mrs. Nakana?
Mr.
And
Gunda.
I'm guessing, I'm going to answer Mrs. Rodriguez. What I'm guessing is that we do this now, it'll be cheaper to do it now instead of 5-10 years from now, because it'll probably triple or quadruple what, to have somebody else design something, a plan for us.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gondara, but from what I'm understanding, it's not designing the additional space, correct?
No, it's just planning, master planning. It's showing, you know, like I said, if we want to build more soccer fields, or, you know, it'll show locations of that, and it'll tell us not to put parking lots there, or not to, or build something there, you know.
Sort of a master plan what a city would use it, if I'm correct, right?
Well,
you know, master plan for different sites for.
It's
this would master plan
more
would be-
so for us.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, Mr. Trent, how much room are we looking to have empty space?
Don't know.
You don't know yet.
Don't know yet. No. Don't know yet. You'll see more of that when you see the model, and we've only had 2 meetings with the architect, and one was up in Dallas when we toured some facility to look at comparable facility. We can't build a legacy. The legacy was built 6, 7, 8 years ago. What it costs now, $20 is probably approaching $100 million. We can't build that. You know, we got $40 million to spend on this project. So we looked at facilities that were comparable to that we could put on this site. And that's all we've looked at. We hadn't really, other than we've got a model of our existing facility. The architect has all of the existing plans. We gave that to them. They've done a 3D modeling, and they can take that model on the screen and spin it any which way you want to
So
look
are
at
we
it.
modeling it after the old SAC, or are we giving it a different design?
We're giving it a totally different design, but we hadn't even gotten into the design yet. We just told them that we want X amount of seats, and, you know, so we hadn't even started the design.
I understand what you're saying, and I see the purpose for it, because in the long run, we all don't know who's going to be here later on, and to have something in place for a design for future use, a soccer field, a bigger parking lot. We don't know how these facilities are going to turn out after we have both of them right next to each other. I know that our district is growing, and I know those facilities are going to be used a lot, especially during, you know, football season. I know it's of course it's Texas, and especially we have some really competitive teams that, you know, we sell out a lot of our games. So it would be, I'm guessing, would be a good thing to have.
President Knight.
May I speak?
Mr. Morales?
Real quick. Who's going to provide guidance to this architect? I mean, where is he going to get these ideas as to how we're going to utilize this property? I mean, they may come up with something that may not fit the need of our community, yet we're asking a person to come out and design something or plan something for the future. Wouldn't it be somebody, I'm thinking, wouldn't it be somebody maybe locally that would understand that the dynamics of our plan or master plan as far as a community?
That's my staff. That's facility and planning. That's what we do. We get athletics. Athletics went with us. Fine arts went with us up to Dallas. Maintenance and operation went up there. Security went up there. Our staff on any new project, facility and planning, has a very detailed design process that we incorporate not only cabinet members, we incorporate teachers and all the departments to design that. That's why I'm asking on September the 5th that we start showing you some preliminary, and these are preliminary concepts to the board, because we might get input from y'all that you might be totally looking at something different before we get too far along with it.
Okay. Dr. Espinosa.
Yes, President Nada, Mr. Hodges, so this would allow the company to give us different designs, whether it's the SACs, the original SAC is there, and then the other one's 200, 300 yards away, or there could be possibly together connected on the visitor side, where the what do we call it? The
Rattlesnake Hill.
Rattlesnake Hill, where it's connected there with an possible amphitheater. So would they would, my question is, they would provide different designs?
Yes.
Okay, they would provide, okay.
They would provide different concepts on layout.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Different concepts. Okay, and I agree with Mr. Gandara that this, in my opinion, this needs to be a while, because if you think about it, the SAC is centrally located in our school district, centrally located. Joe Battle, a lot of traffic. It is growing. I mean, we got to think not only obviously for 3 years from now, 5 years from now when it's done, but 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years from now. This original SAC, Mr. Ianton, that's there was built in
1995.
95. Now, I wasn't here in 95. What was I doing in 95? Anyway, in 95, I wasn't here, but I would assume that there was not much. There was not any. Drugan obviously wasn't there. It was just what?
2 high schools. There was
two high schools. So that was basically in the desert. So at that time, those individuals, the trustees, the administration, the community, they had a vision that is, I mean, that's an amazing location. So I think, just like Mr. Gandara said, I think we really need to knock it out and really, build a world-class, facility.
Well, in 95, I remember we beat Montwood that year.
I have a motion by Mr. Gannon and a second by Mr. Ganada. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
And the motion carries. Mr. Item, Mr. Ianton. Item F, consider approval of guaranteed maximum price for package 2 of the reconstruction of Socorro High School.
Yes, and I want to show a video first, and then we'll get into the presentation, I think. This is the aerial as it comes into Socorro. You can see Alameda and Rojas, and you can see the existing site. The new entrance will be off of Rio Vista. You see Mr. Gondola's basketball courts. We have set the student parking back 60 feet to honor the agreement with the city in case Rio Vista gets widened. This is the aerial as you're coming down Alameda. The building in the lower corner with the white roof is the science labs. That's the only thing that's going to be remaining. Where you see the Socorro Bulldog, that's the auditorium and fine arts area. The cylinder is the new entrance to the facility. On the first floor, we'll have the administration area, athletics, the pit will remain, the cafeteria, the fine arts, the auditorium. Then we have the career and technology, and then the student services. Socorro Early College, The second floor, we go into the academic areas, science labs, media center, career and tech, the early college, health profession academy, and then the third floor is more academics. As you enter into this new entrance, you're seeing the second level that kind of opens up over into the lower level. You see the doors in the lower corner. You cannot go through those doors. You go into the office area. This is the main entrance. The reception. And of course, we have our staff. From the entering, we go into the competition gym, or what we call the pit, and this kind of shows a rendition of what it could eventually look like after the renovation, what it will look like. The cafeteria. Now, the first slide in the cafeteria, you're going to see the seating arrangement is for a stage area, because you're looking at the black box, which is that blue that black area with the red band. This is set up for a stage. And then the fine arts lobby, or the entrance, you'll come up a couple of steps. See those existing steps? Those are those existing steps. The 4 columns are the existing structure, and it shows the fine arts lobby area. From the lobby area, you go into the auditorium, and this is the new auditorium. It's Colombian blue. Then from the auditorium, you go to the band hall. Now we're going to the cafeteria, where you see a normal cafeteria setup for lunches and stuff. The kitchen is off to the left, my left. Going to the library, media center. And it actually overlooks the cafeteria.
Really?
Yes, that you can see the red wall. It overlooks the We'll have collaboration spaces on each level, and they'll be able to, the students will be able to use their laptops and to charge their laptops all along those collaboration areas. And they can also be used for instruction. There's collaboration areas outside of the classroom area. When we visited Houston about a year or so ago, we liked the way the science labs, everything that was coming out of the ceiling. Typical classrooms will have all the flexible furniture and all the technology. Then you'll have that main corridor, or the main street, that will go all the way down, and you'll have bridges that cross over it, but that's going to be the main spine, or the main street of the facility. We also will have a bistro in that area, which is in the student service area. where this could be open and on the weekend, and students will come in and be able to hook up their computers and have access. This is the automotive lab and the diesel lab. I think there's 8 bays. Career and Tech CTE corridor. Those doors to the left are secured and you can't get into the school. Everything is kept in this corridor for public use. This is your student entrance, which will be off of the new parking lot that's being construction under phase 1. And then that's an overall view of it. And we actually started in July instead of August.
Mrs. Rodriguez? Mrs. Nájera? Mr. Arrington?
Yes, sir.
That is a beautiful school.
Thank you.
God, that is
Thank you.
gorgeous.
That is a beautiful school. I think the students and parents and everybody that will end up going to that school is going to be very proud to see something like that down there. You know, from when we started this whole process, it is gorgeous. I am really speechless seeing this. This is a gorgeous school. I would have been really happy to have attended this school. I love Socorro High School. You know, I went there. I love it. But this is something that I think our students and faculty and parents are going to be very proud of to see. So great job. Just one question, Mr. Arrington, on the dance area that you saw, how big is that area going to be for? And I'm asking because our mission nets have, you know.
I'll get that for you by tomorrow, but it's comparable to Pebble Hills and East Lake. I don't know the exact.
That's all you had to tell me. I mean, if you've seen their facility right now, that's the only thing I wanted to ask. But great job to the architects and taking our recommendations into hand. And great job, man. I loved it. That is a beautiful school.
Gary, I'm jealous.
Ms. Nahra, can I ask the board, can I introduce the architects and the contractors?
Oh, sure. Hold on, Miss, can I say,
Yeah.
Actually, go ahead and introduce it. I'll do it after. I'll say it after.
BLK Architects, if they wouldn't mind standing up. There's a few representatives back there. And then our contractor is BTC. If y'all please.
One more thing, Mrs. Nájera, real quick. Wait. Even though I play around a lot, Mr. Man, I really do love Mountwood. It is a beautiful school as well. I just like picking on because I went to Socorro, but it is a beautiful school, and I do love that high school.
It's a beautiful school.
Dr. Espinosa.
President, yes. Wow, you know, that's a wow. I mean, that community, you know, those students right there, right now, currently at Socorro High School, obviously, by the time it's built, you know, they won't be there, but they're going to be like Mr. Gandara. Hey, look at this beautiful, beautiful facility, that the flagship. But all those students at Campestre Elementary, at Waco Elementary, they're going to walk into a world-class facility. And as I stress to people, while we need, and we have amazing, amazing employees, the type of the line, highly effective, but you also need the facilities for a school district, for a school to be successful. And I'll end it with this. I would be remiss that what you saw there was possible because of what happened in November of 2017, 2 years ago. And obviously the trustees, the community, they got behind the bond. And they overwhelmingly succeeded, the highest that we'd ever passed the bond. But I'd be remiss if I didn't thank two individuals and their organizations. They're here right now. Starting out with Angie Soto and Veronica Hernandez with their organizations and their support of this bond to make that possible. So Veronica, Angie, thank you so much. A little side note, I'll never forget that day I actually got sick. I got sick that day. I had to find a restroom at Peter Piper Pizza, okay, for some wrong reasons. But anyway, that's just a whole side note. A little too much information, probably. But it was a heck of a day at the end. So thank you so much, Veronica and Angie, and your organizations. Thank you.
Ms. Angela, I have a question.
Mr. Garcia.
Mr. Arrington, any kind of security measures that you guys have implemented in this at Socorro High School in particular?
No.
Worth noting?
We've always, or the new construction, limit the access. If you come into the main door, you cannot enter through the doors without going into the administration area to get logged in and checked in and stuff. And that occurs on both ends. We also are looking at some other options that could be added later down the way, but those are the main things that we incorporated right now.
Okay. Completion date?
Completion, it's going to be phased, so it's kind of hard to give a completion date. If you look at the final turnover, if you saw the aerial, you saw the football fields or the practice fields and stuff kind of on the area where the building basically exists. All of that's got to be torn down and that. So it's going to take, if the board approves the GMP for phase 2, it'll take 3.5 years. That puts us right around the early spring of 2023. But we'll move into the new facility, the academic areas, within 18 months to 2 years after we start constructing that. So it's going to, students are going to be moving into new facility. They're not going to be in portables or anything like that. We're going to build new facilities. They're going to move into that. Then we tear down that.
Thank you.
So we get to the item. Administration recommends consideration and approval of the guarantee maximum price presented by BTC Company in the amount of $136,479,989 for package 2. However, after we reviewed some of the original package number 1, package 1 saving, and in your letter that's attached to it shows 2 alternate. The 2 alternates being the artificial turf for the baseball field and the artificial turf for the softball field. As you know, we are reconstructing the softball field as a part of package 1. So administration is recommending that the board accepts alternate 1 and alternate 2 for the artificial turfs for the softball and baseball field for an additional $1,556,124. So that would be added into the $136,478,989 number that I gave you. Now, we have not drawn up a contract yet until we're hopefully getting the board approval, and then legal counsel and myself will draw up the contract and put all that into the contract. We feel like now is the time to do it because we're building a new softball field. If we were to go in there and build a softball field, put natural grass on it, and then 2 years later, 3 years later, find out that we have some monies available, all that
always
work.
Good about doing, saving us money, right, Mr.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Always good about doing that.
And we feel like there is enough in contingencies and savings that will come about that we will be able to make that up. So administration recommends approval of guarantee maximum price in the amount of $136,479,989 with the addition of alternate 1 artificial turf for baseball, $1,289,118, and alternate 2 for artificial turf for softball for $267,000
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Gondeta and a second by Mr. Getta. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Iington.
Thank you.
Item G, consider approval of House Bill 3 teacher salary schedule. Mr. Kimpoya.
Good evening, President Nájera, Dr. Espinosa, board members, Rudy Campoya, Chief Human Resources Officer. Back in June, I had presented the compensation plan which the board approved that included the requirement by HB3 for teachers with 6+ years of experience. Since then, the district has received additional information to where we have to amend what was presented back then. I do have two directors, Selena Stiles, Director of HR, and Susan Olson, who will be presenting the details of what that entails that requires board approval.
Good evening, President Nájera, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board. As Mr. Campoya mentioned, my name is Selena Stiles, Director of Human Resources for Support Personnel, and I am going to be presenting on the information that was received on the differentiation of pay requirement of HB3 for teacher salary. Originally, the board did approve the compensation plan on June 4th with a HB3 stipend in the amount of $250 for teachers with 6 years of experience or more. On this particular slide, under the answer section, it reads, also for Chapter 21 positions, pay may not be characterized as supplemental for duty that isn't supplemental solely in order to avoid the statutory requirements to maintain rates of pay across the contract term. Therefore, basically stating we cannot provide the differentiation in pay in the form of a stipend. So what we went ahead and did was we calculated what a 5.5% increase off the calculated midpoint for teachers at 6 years of experience or more would be. So instead of $250, it totals $272. So at this point, and we are including teachers, nurses, librarians, and counselors. Originally, it was approved as classroom teachers only. So we are consolidating that to maintain consistency across all individuals paid on the teacher salary scales. So administration recommends a 5.5% increase off the calculated midpoint inclusive of the step for employees paid on the teacher or counselor salary scale, which includes teachers, nurses, librarians, and counselors with 6 years of experience in lieu of the HB3 stipend approved by the Board of Trustees on June 4th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Gondeta and a second by Ms. Rodriguez. Is there any further discussion?
President Nájera?
Ms. Rodriguez?
Ms. Stiles, this will meet the requirement?
Yes, ma'am.
And then we need to report this to TEA to make sure they know what we're doing?
In December, there will be a requirement for us to report how we are paying our employees, but yes, this does meet that requirement of the differentiation of pay. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And this, because it is an increase, will be a permanent, it's not a
Correct.
stipend. We can't say, no, you don't get a
Correct.
stipend next year. This is going to be a permanent.
Yes, ma'am, and that was the intention of the law, to
Yes, ma'am.
permanently change salaries.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Stiles.
Thank you.
Yes.
Item H, consider approval of local policy. Dr. Graham?
Good evening, Ms. Nájera, Dr. Espinosa, and esteemed board. Tonight, administration recommends consideration and approval to the revisions to the policy EIC local. And this policy was reviewed to balance the grade weights assigned grades for purpose of class ranking for high school students entering the 2019-2020 school year and thereafter. And it's mostly is related to dual credit or advanced placement.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Gonda and a second by Mr. Morales. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Graham. Item 11, executive session. The meeting is to be closed for discussion with legal counsel to receive and discuss the recommendation of administration to terminate the term contract of AL, teacher at Montwood High School, and SW, teacher at Eastlake High School, for good cause. For discussion regarding board operating procedures, to discuss personnel and real estate matters, to conduct evaluations of internal auditors, curriculum instruction, and finance, to consider administrative recommendations for assistant principal position at Ernesto Sarno School, an employee health clinic pharmacist under Texas Government Code sections 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074. The time is 8:13. We are back in session. The time is 11:18. We will continue with item 12, new business A, discussion and possible action regarding the recommendation of administration to terminate the term contract of AL, teacher at Montwood High School, for good cause. Mr. Blanco.
Thank you, Board President Nahara, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board. Steve Blanco, legal counsel for the district. I gave you a summary of the events that led to the recommendation from the administration to propose the termination of the probationary contract of AL, a teacher at Montwood High School, for good cause and for the reasons that were outlined for you in closed session. So we would ask that you authorize the administration to issue appropriate notice to AL and to move forward with the proposal to terminate his probationary contract for good cause.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Guerra and a second by Mr. Garcia. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion carries. Item 12B, discussion and possible action regarding the recommendation of administration to terminate the term contract of SW, teacher at Eastlake High School, for good cause.
Thank you, Board President Nahara. Again, I gave you an update on the facts surrounding the current work status of SW, a teacher at Eastlake High School. It is actually a probationary contract. Based on the reasons that I provided to you in closed session, the administration is asking that you approve the recommendation to propose the probationary contract of SW, a teacher at Eastlake High School, for good cause, those being the reasons that I outlined for you in closed session.
Motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Guerra and a second by Ms. Rodriguez. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Blanco. Item 12C, consider approval of evaluation of internal auditors. Number 1, curriculum and instruction. Ms. Martha Carmona. Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the internal audit evaluation for Ms. Marta Carmona as discussed in closed session.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Rodriguez and a second by Mr. Guerra. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Carmona. And item 12C2 for finance, for the evaluation of Mr. Jose San Miguel.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the internal audit evaluation as discussed in closed session for Mr. San Miguel.
Second.
I'm sorry, who was that? I have a motion by Ms. Rodriguez and a second by Mr. Garcia. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion carries.
President
Thank you,
Nájera?
Mr. San Miguel. Yes.
If I may, I just again want to thank Ms. Carmona and Mr. San Miguel for their work in the internal audit function. Thank you both for everything that you do for the district and keeping us in check and keeping us in line. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item 12D, consider approval of administrative recommendations. Number 1, assistant principal for Ernesto Serna School.
Yes, President Nájera, members of the board, administration recommends Ms. Yvonne Vallejo to assume all the roles and the responsibilities as the new assistant principal at Ernesto Serna.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Rodriguez and a second by Mr. Garcia. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion carries. And item D2, employee health clinic pharmacist. Dr. Espinosa.
Yes, President Nájera, members of the board, administration recommends Mr. Eric Garcia to assume all the roles and the responsibilities as a new employee health clinic pharmacist.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Rodriguez and a second by Mr. Gondeta. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion carries. If there's no further business before this board, we are adjourned at 11:23.